If you feel so inspired by Jonathan, okay, we're back on. So if you feel so inspired by Jonathan's story today, then please click on the link and make a donation. Every dollar counts and helps us further our mission of providing the best rehab and outcomes for our patients and their families in the Midwest. So take it away, you two.
Well, thank you, Mindy. Jonathan, again, thank you for coming. Yeah. And we've been talking already a little bit this morning. So you've been involved with the hospital. You can talk about the hospital side. You've been a patient and also the sports program.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. So I was a patient here in November of '99. I was 19 years old. I had just year before graduated high school. I grew up in Muncie, Indiana. Was an avid motocross racer. Had an accident. It was a November day that was unseasonably warm. So my buddies and I we went out riding, and ended up towards the end of the day having an accident where I flipped over the handlebars, and the bike landed on me, and instantly, kind of it caused a spinal cord injury. So instantly I woke up from being unconscious, and I describe to kids when I go to speak to schools sometimes that it's like when you leave the dentist office and your jaw's numb. That's how my legs felt. So was lifeline to Methodist, and spent 10 or 12 days there at Methodist, and then after that came here and spent 52 days here at RHI as an inpatient, and then that was back in the days when the inpatient stays were a little longer, it seemed like, and then did some outpatient therapy here as well. So
52 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like my home away from home.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, and then so when you went home, then it was an immediate that you did start the outpatient also.
Yeah, there was a few months. We lived in Muncie, so there was during the winter months I attended some outpatient up in Muncie, and then once the weather broke, I came back here to do some more intense outpatient therapy. So.
All right, and then tell me a little bit I know you're also involved with the sports program.
Yeah, so I went from racing motocross, which is this fast-paced, some people call it an extreme sport, and here I am, laying in a hospital bed, wondering kind of what my life holds, I guess, and being an athlete before, naturally I wanted to find something that I love to do and still compete in sports. So I dabbled in a lot of things. I tried water skiing. I tried wheelchair basketball. I was horrible at basketball before my accident. So being in a wheelchair didn't help that fact. So I got pointed in the direction. Thankfully, my therapist at the time here and her husband kind of pointed me in the direction to try wheelchair racing. So 2 years. About a year and a half after my accident, I competed in the mini marathon, which is happening this Saturday.
That's right. Wow.
And I RHI, I know they're a big part of that and have been for years past. But so I did the mini marathon for 9 years in a row, and always was just trying to beat the clock. And so the wheelchair racing kind of filled that void of motocross racing. It was an individual sport, so was motocross. And it was fast, at times. So back then, there wasn't, the sports program probably wasn't as big as it is now, and there was about 3 or 4 of us that was the RHI racing team, right? So we got to travel around the world doing marathons, and they sent us all over the U.S. One year in 2004, we went to Japan, which was probably one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. It's an all wheelchair marathon. So, we go to the mini marathon, there's about maybe 15 to 20 chairs, and then, 4,000 runners. Japan, there was literally like 1,500 wheelchairs, and no able-bodied runners. So it was a really cool experience. That was in 2004. Backing up a year, went to Alaska and competed in a hand cycle race, which was similar to like the Tour de France. It's a 5-day race that's staged, and we flew into Anchorage, drove to Fairbanks, and rode our bikes from Fairbanks to Anchorage in 5 days, which that was an amazing experience. I think I told you earlier, when I got on, I'm surprised my head fit on the plane on my way home, because my confidence was like, felt like I could conquer the world. So that was really awesome. And then I started coaching the track and field team, the youth track and field team here at RHI for years, and went to junior nationals with them. I've seen it firsthand, experienced it firsthand, and seen it in kids' lives where, being involved in sports, given opportunities like RHI provides, not only is fun and gives them something to do on the weekends, but it helps them in life in general. It helps build their confidence and makes them more sociable around their friends, and just it's an overall good thing. Then I guess transitioning from wheelchair racing and hand cycling, as a kid, I grew up in Indiana here, hunting with my dad, archery hunting, and so my dad taught me to shoot a bow and arrow. And my sophomore year at Ball State, I decided to start competing locally. And by my senior year, it was actually the semester before I graduated, I was invited, or I started doing some research, and I wanted to try to see what I could do as far as making the Paralympic archery team. And so I went to a training camp. I funded myself to go there, and was out in Chula Vista, and left there. I had never shot an arrow past 30 yards in my backyard, and we're shooting 90 meters, so a football field length out there. And so that summer, I had graduated, finished my internship, and instead of going to grad school, I pursued a Paralympic archery dream, and ended up making the world championship team that year. That was in 2009. Got 4th place in the world, and then competed for several years, 10 years total, and was the alternate to go to London in 2012, and also the alternate for Rio in 2016. So yeah, but in between all those, 2016 and 2012, I got to see the world and represent the USA on the Paralympic team. So
That was great. I know one of the things that you do too that's a lot of fun. Do you own that blow up?
yeah. So we have an archery game that's inflatable, and it has a floating ball, and you